Hello everyone, hope everybody's doing great today. Appreciate those of you who watch this video. I hope you enjoy it. And today we talk about Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It's starring Harrison Ford, of course, and Cate Blanchett as the bad guy. And then we have Karen Allen making a return from the first one. And quite frankly, this is where, I can't really say this because I haven't seen the Dial one. And I'll probably see that one next, be my first time. But from what I heard, that is very good. So that would make this one the turning point of when these Indiana Jones movies start to take the downfall. Should have stayed with the first three. The first three are classics. And my main problem I have with this movie, is that it looks fake. Really fake. How did George Lucas and Steven Spielberg make a movie with this many special effects and they all look fake? I don't know, but sometimes time passes you by and your gets ahead of you, because this movie looks very 2D. I don't even know if they ever left the studio buildings because it all looks blue screen and you can really tell. And that's my biggest complaint about this movie is just how fake it looks. It looks fake for the first scene. Well, the first scene looks pretty good, when they're running across the desert and stuff, like 5 minutes before what we're seeing right here. But once they get to this military camp to the end, it looks very fake, very 2D-ish. That's my biggest complaint about this movie. Otherwise, excuse me. Otherwise, I don't really mind it. I think the story-wise, it was pretty good, actually, I think. Personally, I kind of enjoyed it. The whole idea that, Indiana Jones has a secret kid. The idea that, it's with Karen Allen's character, which is great, Ravenclaw. So that stuff I did enjoy with it. And then, I didn't really mind the whole trying to find a crystal skull, and it has to do with time travel and aliens. I don't know. I didn't really mind that part of the storyline either, because they always found those skulls in South America. The elongated skulls and stuff like that. So I thought that was kind of interesting to use that. Plus, I don't believe any of the previous movies involved, South America. Maybe the first Indiana Jones, when he's trying to get that, sculpture or whatever. I can't try to think of the name of it. But anyways, yeah, I mean, Raiders of the Lost Ark does take place, pretty sure, in South America, maybe, or could it be in Asia? I'm not really sure. I'm gonna say South America. South America. Anyways, let's get off this. Anyways, but I did like the fact that they did take place in South America, because the other ones, you got one in Europe, Egypt, and then India. So it's good that they had another one here in the Western Hemisphere. We didn't need it to take place in America because, we have National Treasure for that one. So we see Indiana Jones here. He comes back as Harrison Ford. I don't know how hard he really got to get back into this character, but it did still feel like an older Indiana Jones in this movie. At least he wasn't depressed and stuff like that, right? But, we see him in his older years. The Nazis are defeated, and then they bring in the Russians in this one, which is pretty cool. Seeing that, and then we kind of have a Red Dawn beginning, where these Russians are able somehow to penetrate into America, take over this military base. It's Red Dawn miniaturized. And I guess, you should really not have illegal immigration, right? Because how else can these Russians get in here with guns and stuff like that? So, didn't watch that border very well. Didn't do your background checks very well either. But it doesn't really explain. The movie doesn't explain how they're able to get in here. And do we really need them to explain that? It's just a movie. It's time to have fun. Like I said, like this scene behind me here. It looks so fake. And that's the problem I have with this one. Let's get into the critters. Indiana Jones always has those nasty critters, either rats, bugs, or snakes. And this one, they choose man-eating ants. And they actually kill people in this one. The other three, the critters didn't kill anybody. The snakes didn't kill anybody, as far as I know. Remember, the bugs on the floor, Temple Doom didn't kill anybody, and the rats didn't kill anybody. But in this one, you actually see somebody get eaten pretty much alive here by red ants. So it's probably like the worst way fire ants, whatever these are, to die. The best part of the movie for me that I did like was the graveyard scene where they're with him and Shia LaBeouf. His son that he didn't know was his son at the time. I kind of like that. I kind of like the atmosphere. When I first saw it, it didn't really look that fake, at the nighttime when they're first going in there. But when they're coming out of the holes that they're going into, of the tombs, whatever. And then I was like, oh man, this looks fake. And then it really looked fake. But going into it, you had like the lightning and the shading and the lightning going on and the lighting that they used. I thought it looked pretty realistic. And that's probably like my favorite part of the movie is that part where they're going in there and they find the old Spaniard. And that's, he's holding a crystal skull. That part I liked a lot, up to the part where, the funniest part to me in this movie is where they get caught in the quicksand and they use the snake to drag Indiana Jones out. And, he's terrified of snakes and they're like, think of it as a rope. No, Indiana Jones like, call it a rope. And they keep on saying, it's a snake, he's like, no, call it a rope. And so finally they call it a rope for him. That was part, I found it hilarious. I do think like the comedy in this one, the humor in this one is good. It does catches on. I did find myself, laughing. That part I laughed out loud, but other parts, it's like I found humorous, I guess you could say. And then the last act, again, I just couldn't get over how fake it looked. Like you're in the South America, the big jungle down there, the Amazon. And it is all the trees just look digitalized. I feel like I was watching a video game. And that's not good when you're watching a movie. Especially if it's supposed to be like live action, I guess. If I'm watching a CGI movie, it'll look fantastic. But this is supposed to be all like live action. And this looks so fake. This is why my biggest criticism of the movie is fakeness of it. I did enjoy the storyline. It was nice to see Harrison Ford back in action, and I felt like Shia LaBeouf was good. I liked him in this movie. I liked how he's Indiana Jones, bastard child, I guess you could say. Kind of wish that they would continue with him doing the series. I guess he's supposedly dead now. The character's dead now, but it's kind of a shame that whatever happened to Shia LaBeouf during this time period happened. And I was kind of looking forward to him kind of carrying the mantle on. That would have been cool. Seeing maybe Indiana Jones Jr.'s adventures would be nice. Of course, you had kind of like that back in the 90s, right? That little TV show. Overall, if you've never seen this one, just watch the first 3 Indiana Jones and then leave this one alone. I'm going to go and try to watch Dial of Destiny. Never seen it before. Haven't heard anything good about it. Hopefully people are wrong about it. Hopefully I enjoy it. But it was from Disney. And Disney is not putting out very good movies at this moment. Anyways, what do you guys think of the Crystal Skull movie? Did you enjoy it? Is this the best Indiana Jones Crystal Skull movie ever made? Or is it the worst one? To me, it's the worst one. I haven't seen Dial of Destiny yet. For me, it's the worst one, though. It is definitely the worst one by a lot. Anyways, have a great day. Sorry about the bummer here. Bummer review. Have a great day. Bye.